You're watching South Asia Newsline, and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Thursday, the 3rd of April. PM Modi arrives in Bangkok for BIMSTEC summit, key bilateral talks ahead. India opens field hospital, aids rescue operations in quake-hit Myanmar. And Afghan refugees await deportations at Torkham border in Pakistan as deadline expires. And now for all the details. From strengthening regional ties to strategic talks with Thailand's leadership, India's role in shaping the future of this region takes center stage as Indian Prime Minister arrived in Bangkok to take part in the 6th BIMSTEC summit. We have a report.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi landed in Bangkok on Thursday for an official visit and participation in the 6th summit of BIMSTEC, the Bay of Bengal initiative for multi-sectoral technical and economic cooperation. Upon his arrival, PM Modi was warmly welcomed by members of the Indian diaspora in Thailand before his meeting with his Thai counterpart, Paetongtarn Shinawatra, during which he discussed the full spectrum of diplomatic relations. His itinerary for the 2-day visit also includes bilateral engagements with leaders of participating nations, with a likely possibility of the first bilateral meeting with Bangladesh Chief Advisor Muhammad Yunus. After concluding his Thailand visit, Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to embark on a visit to Sri Lanka. On Thursday, India's Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar attended the 20th BIMSTEC ministerial meeting and emphasized that BIMSTEC members should deepen collaboration by focusing on the most visible convergences, such as grid connections, digital infrastructure, business, blue economy, and health, food and energy security. He said India is aware of its special responsibility in the context of BIMSTEC, having the longest coastline of 6,500 kilometers in the Bay of Bengal and sharing borders with 5 members of the bloc.
And tense face-off between the opposition and the treasury continued in the Indian Parliament on Thursday as the government tabled the Waqf Amendment Bill in the Rajya Sabha following its passage in Lok Sabha. While the government has called the bill as a step towards transparency, opposition has termed it as overreach of power. We have a report.
After the Lok Sabha, the lower house of Indian Parliament passed the Waqf Amendment Bill 2025. Union Minority Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju on Thursday tabled the legislation in the Rajya Sabha, asserting that the proposed bill is not against Muslims but seeks to improve the functioning of Waqf properties, ensure transparency and end corruption. Despite condemnation and protest by the opposition, the Lok Sabha passed the legislation with 288 votes in favour and 232 against it after nearly 12 hours of debate. Rijiju said on Thursday in the Rajya Sabha it will be renamed as the UMEED, Unified Waqf Management, Empowerment, Efficiency and Development Bill. The minister informed the House that there were 4.9 lakh Waqf properties in 2004, which have now increased to 8.72 lakh.
जब इतना प्रॉपर्टी हमारा देश में है, इसमें किसी को आपत्ति नहीं होना चाहिए, लेकिन आपत्ति तब होता है जब दुनिया का सबसे ज्यादा प्रॉपर्टी मुसलमानों के नाम में वक्फ प्रॉपर्टी हमारे देश में है और करोड़ों जो हमारे बहनाई हैं, गरीब मुसलमान हैं, उसको कोई फायदा नहीं मिल रहा है इतना प्रॉपर्टी. तो ये प्रॉपर्टी किस काम का?
Opposition lawmakers and Islamic groups see the bill as a plan to secure assets owned by Muslims and to weaken their property rights under the Indian Constitution. A member of the All India Muslim Personal Law Board said, upon passage, they will challenge it in the court.
क्यों 2024 में याद आया? 10 साल क्यों आपको याद नहीं आया? 2024 में इसलिए याद आया क्योंकि 400 का नारा इनको दिए थे, 240 में निपट गए थे, इनको बिल्कुल मेजॉरिटी नहीं मिली थी. जिनको आप समझ में नहीं आ रहा कैसे अपना वोट बैंक बढ़ाएं, इनको ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा कौन सा मुद्दा उछालें, तो इन्होंने वक्फ बोर्ड को लेके आया, इस एक्ट को लेके आके कम्युनल पोलराइजेशन करने का काम कर रहे हैं.
And India has stepped up its humanitarian efforts in quake-hit Myanmar, setting up a field hospital in Myanmar and deployed rescue teams to aid in relief operations. With thousands dead and rescue efforts hampered by extreme heat, the focus remains on providing medical aid and recovering bodies.
The Indian Army has set up a 60-bed field hospital in Mandalay, Myanmar's second biggest city, where a powerful earthquake of 7.7 magnitude has killed thousands and caused massive destruction. The facility will help in tackling trauma cases, emergency surgeries, and provide essential medical services to support the local healthcare system, which has been severely strained by the disaster.
See, we have treated, yesterday the figure was around 107, today it is almost around 70 people till now. But people are coming in, and we usually take an estimate in the evening, but there are almost around 100 yesterday, but we expect around 150 to 200 today.
Meanwhile, as part of India's Operation Brahma, the country's National Disaster Response Force has also been deployed in Mandalay to aid local rescuers in search and rescue operations. The quake, which struck at lunchtime on Friday, was the strongest to hit the Southeast Asian country in more than a century, toppling ancient pagodas and modern buildings alike. The death toll had surpassed 3,000, reports suggested.
जिंदा लोगों की तो पॉसिबिलिटी नहीं है सर, 5-6 दिन हो गए ना, गर्मी भी बहुत है, तो जिंदा की तो कोई पॉसिबिलिटी है ही नहीं, डेड बॉडी निकाली है.
Moving on. At least 6 Afghan refugee families living in Pakistan's Punjab province on Wednesday awaited deportation as the deadline for voluntary return had already expired. The deportations were due to start on Tuesday, but the repatriation process seemed to be delayed due to Eid holidays. Refugees who had been relocated to Torkham border awaited documentation formalities to complete before they were expected to be deported. Islamabad has previously linked Afghan migrants to security concerns, blaming them for militant attacks and crimes, a claim rejected by Kabul. Pakistan launched its repatriation drive for foreign nationals, primarily Afghans, in 2023, initially focusing on those without legal documentation. According to UN data, more than 800,000 Afghans hold Afghan citizen cards in Pakistan, while another 1.3 million are officially registered under the Proof of Residence card scheme.
دا موږ پنجاب کې اوسېدل، موږ د فوجیان به روزانه راتلله، پوه شوې. نو یو موږ سره پاکستاني کارډونه نه و، مهاجر کارډ را سره و. نو د اختر په لولنه ورځ باندې موږ راتویست تاسې وځئ. نو دا سپیان ساتلي مې دی، یو ګلډانګ دی، یو جرمن شافرډ دی. زه وایم دا سپیان سره پرېږدي، دې سره مینه، دا یو دنه مې اخیستی ده پیسو باندې، دا یو دنه مې ساتلی ده، خو ډېره سره پرېږدي. نو په دې ډاګ کې پرېږده نو سړی به خفه کېږي. زه دا غوښتنه کوم چې دا سپیان سره پرېږدي.
इंज किता है ना ते जरा 1-2 महीने जड़े हो गए ना, कभी 2 डाले पुलिस होंदा ते नाल सिविल डिफेंस होंदा ते सानू इंज रोटियां से पता ही नहीं लगा भाई किस टाइम से रोटी खाता है ते किस टाइम नहीं खाना ते 26 घंटे साडा बुए ते पुलिस होना ते ईद दी दिहाड़ी ते सानू इतना तंग किया कि ईद दी नमाज से नहीं पढ़िया ते यार 4 बजे तक मोला आखिरी टाइम दिता, जरा सामान है वो अद्धा छाड़ दिता, जरा पक्का हो गया 26 घंटे वेच नहीं जाता ते जरा चीज है वो वेच चढ़ के ते आ गया.
Amid Trump's heavy tariff call, Sri Lanka's opposition leader Sajith Premadasa on Thursday criticized the new 44% tariff imposed by the United States on Sri Lankan exports, calling it a wake-up call for the country's economic policy. Premadasa emphasized that this issue goes beyond trade, highlighting the government's historical stance of blocking trade deals, distrusting globalization, and viewing investment as an intrusion. Premadasa called for a strategic reset in Sri Lanka's approach to international trade. Meanwhile, India's junior finance minister Pankaj Chaudhary has said India is in wait-and-watch mode after Trump slapped a 26% tariff on imports from India. India gains a natural competitive advantage in several key sectors due to the relatively lower tariff imposed. The US has a trade deficit of $46 billion with India.
I would say that in the short term, obviously 26% sounds like bad news, but it also depends on how we compete with other countries for the same goods we're exporting, which will become more expensive. We have a good trade balance with America, about $45 billion that we are in our favor. We don't want to find that dropping too dramatically. At the same time, we'll also have to make some concessions in terms of our tariffs